What's going on? Hey guys, Seth Estrada back again with another crypto chat and workout. I'm not doing these as frequently as I want to, but I am doing them because, frankly, there's interesting stuff to talk about in the cryptosphere and in the markets. I've got behind me, I'm inside the shed again. I've got behind me a weighted jump rope and I've attached it just to this beam right here. I've already tested this beam with my body weight before, so I'm pretty confident it's going to work fine. I'm not going to use my full body weight for this, but I'll show you what I am going to do. We're back on the back and shoulder workouts. Guys, go ahead and say hello as you come into the chat, and please be sure to hit all the buttons, right? Like, go ahead and share it out to Twitter, Facebook, wherever you are on social media, because we need this kind of interaction. I know I do. I need this kind of interaction for sure. It'd be a lot better if we were actually doing something like Zoom, but Zoom is not as active, right? Gosh, I guess we could do some kind of a live workout that way. But right now, I wanted to talk about Bitcoin. Went over 7,000 today. And then, hey, James Johnson. Yes, I haven't seen you in a while, man. Thank you for saying hello. But yeah, so Bitcoin over 7,000 today. And that's, I don't know if it's part of a larger bullish trend. I'm reading a lot of different conflicting opinions on crypto Twitter right now. The TA guys and gals know a lot more about it than I do. I'm not even going to pretend. I think that there's really good reason to be cautious, and that's what I'm reading from a lot of people who are experts about it. But personally, I just think there's a lot of good reason to be cautious. The market has been so volatile over the last several weeks. So during quarantine, where people are kind of deciding whether or not crypto is a safe haven. So I don't know. Again, hashtag not advice. I don't give legal, financial, or business advice on this channel. So do your own research, figure out what works for you. But let's get to a workout. I'm going to do my shoulders and back today. Why? Because your back, your core, your legs, they are so essential for just good posture, good health. At any rate, my warm up, I'm just going to do a boxer shuffle. Let me set you guys down really fast so that you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to rest the phone against my keys. Yeah, buddy. Indeed. Crypto to the moon. I sincerely hope that we do see a bullish trend. That would be amazing if we do. Um, What's up, Witty? Yes, yes. I was told it would be shoulders and back. Yes, I has. I'm so glad you made it, man. So what we're gonna do today, guys, is really light. I've got a shed, so I've got something to actually hold a load-bearing rope from. This is actually a weighted jump rope, and we might use it later on. Weighted jump rope is fine, but I'm not doing cardio today with this. We're gonna do cardio with these kettlebells. These guys are so great. Even something really lightweight, like a 25-pound kettlebell, well, what I think a grown man should consider a fairly lightweight with kettlebells, is enough to get your heart and lungs going. So we're going to do that in a little bit, but we're not going to do it till we lift a little bit of resistance. And I'm just going to hold on to these. If you've got something like a thicker nylon rope, like the sort of thing that you would, climb at the gym or use for battling ropes, that would be just as good here, a short length of that. Or, obviously you wouldn't want to use something like paracord. It's going to cut into your hands really bad unless you wrap it up a lot or make some kind of handle for it. So this guy, I'm just going to grip it kind of high. You can't see my knees, but I'm just going to be bending from my knees with my feet on the ground. So I'm not trying to suspend all my body weight from this. This is actually kind of light. It's sort of like, it's the pull-up equivalent of doing push-ups from your knees, if that makes sense. So we're not trying to stress the shoulder joints too much. We're just trying to warm our back and shoulders up. So I'll lean back, and then I'll focus on form, where I keep my elbows in close to my body, and then try to pull my wrists in close. Now, you might not be able to see it from that angle, but my orientation of my wrists is going to do something like this, where there's a rotation inward. Biomechanically, this is like nerd stuff, but I love this stuff. Biomechanically, this right here is a motion path that's just way easier to sustain than this with your hands down, right? Palms down the whole time. That leaves a weird twist in the radius and the ulna, the two bones inside of your forearm. There's a weird twist when you keep your palms down the whole time. When you rotate them up, that twist doesn't mess with your forearms at all, and you can keep that up for hours. So, and of course, if you do anything, what is this? Do anything within construction or where you have to move a lot of weight, then you kind of already know this. Yeah, lightweight. Try a 16x 1080 Ti rig with two beta frames and 2 time Two 1600 watt PSUs, that's the workout. You are not wrong, sir. You are not wrong. Moving around your equipment in the mine will get your heart rate going. Deadwood, good morning. He says, hope you're well. Getting ready to head to work and install a roof for the next CPL days. Well, the weather's nice. Man, good on you. That's great. Glad you got that work lined up, man. Sincerely hope those contracts keep coming in at a steady clip. The weather's nice out here too. Apparently in California, there's going to be a lot of rain this week, which I guess that's fine. Where I am, I mean, I'm actually a little bit warm already. It's in the 50s right now. It's just, the weather is beautiful. I could be directly outside. I'm in here to leverage this, literally get leverage on something overhead. So I'm already kind of warmed up though from doing a little boxer shuffle, guys. You know, I'm really big on just moving the tiniest little bit, right? Just as much as is needed. If you know kind of some martial arts drills, I think that's a great way to get warmed up too, right? Get yourself into a ready position, whatever your chosen martial art is, and have, you know, hands forward, either jiu-jitsu style, judo style like this, open hand, or if you want to do more boxing guard and got to get your arms in close, do whatever reinforces good habits for you for your warm-up. I'm okay with just doing a neutral stance right here, neutral guard, side to side, and then occasionally bringing one foot forward and advancing the way that I know how to advance for the martial arts that I've studied, right? So lead foot comes forward before the rear foot is released and then moves forward. So I like combining a little bit of my cardio with practical skills, the tiniest bit. It's just, in my mind, it helps it feel motivated. Running for 4 miles, I mean, I've done that stuff, guys. I've done it. Running, recumbent bike, elliptical and stuff. And I just feel, when I'm done with it, I feel like, what did I gain? Other than sweating, like, I feel like an hour of my life is gone for no reason. So I like combining skills if I can. So James is saying floating rate for power in January, February here in Alberta was 25 cents. 25 cents Canadian? What the heck? What is going on? So Deadwood is saying work is slow. Folks don't want to have their homes opened up. Oh, yeah, man, that sucks. Fuel costs, yeah. Fuel costs are dropping. Guys, when my miners are in the chat, guys, first off, mining fam, say hello, give us a thumbs up, and just let us know what you're mining in the comments section below. But with the decreased fuel costs, if you guys have Jennies at home and you want to try to work on generating your own power, now is the time to stash up on diesel and any other kind of fuel for your Jennies. Just real talk, we know this. If you're generating power at home for 3 cents per kilowatt hour, then what are you doing buying from the grid? Get your Jennies running. So Dave's asking, Seth, how old are you? I'll give you a hint. It rhymes with 40. Yeah, I don't have as much salt in my pepper as most people are expecting when they see me, but you know, a lot of years of clean living. Raised Mormon, so you know, never smoked, drank, never felt like I had to start. And I know that's kind of weird, right? People are like, oh well, you know those Mormons, and I'm like, yeah, I guess I do. That's literally true. I know a lot of Mormons, but give me some credit here, guys. Lifestyle is a choice. It's always a choice. I mean, it's not like I didn't turn 18 and then make my own life choices. The lifestyle is a choice. So, especially, I'm going to say, again, here we go. Hashtag not financial, business, or legal advice, but life advice. Anybody in the comments, if you're vaping right now, cut that out. Cut it out. The Surgeon General, the WHO, not that we should trust everything they say implicitly, like every single thing, treat it like gospel. The CDC, everybody's saying that smoking is making the effects of COVID-19 for people who have caught it worse. Vaping, they're not talking about that. They're not talking about that. And what scares me so much about that, guys, is that we know that the propylene glycol or the vegetable glycerin that's used as the basis for creating the vapor, that stuff can be retained in people's lungs even longer. And in some ways, I imagine that it would make the effects of catching pneumonia worse. Nobody's talking about that.
And that scares the crap out of me. I think it should scare the crap out of everybody who vapes, personally. So don't get caught unawares. If you can do without vaping, then just cut that crap out for a while. Who knows, man? This time next year, you might decide you just don't need it anymore. Just throwing it out there. If you got a script for whatever, for CBD or for any THC bearing items, go to edibles, man. Stop putting the stuff in your lungs. That's just my take on it. So, Deadwood's saying, I think they're selling off the unleaded before it goes bad. Washington just upped our fuel taxes. Well, you're going to see over $4 a gallon? Dude. Dave. Hey, Dave was a Mormon. Cool. Hey, that's the thing, man. It's always the ones you least expect, right? It's crazy. But that's terrible, man. Washington. I guess I'm going to cut to the chase. What can you do to move away from Washington? That's terrible. You're getting gouged for gas. My brother's in New Mexico. He drove past the gas station. It was $1.25 per gallon. I mean, again, that's why I bring up at-home Jennies. All right, guys, so I'm going to do that subtle twist with my hands again. Can't really see it, and I'm focusing on squeezing between my shoulder blades. So I'm doing this with the wrists to make sure that the forearm bones are not getting, feeling weird, not straining any muscles in here. And you guys have seen me at the gym. I do curl with 50 plus pound dumbbells, and I don't look like I should be able to, but form is everything. It's everything, guys. So get that twist going so that you don't throw things out of alignment and stuff. Again, as Dave kind of clued in on early, I work out like an old man so that I don't move like an old man when I'm not working out. That's the whole point, guys. To be injury free and be harder to kill. I had a mentor years ago, a fitness coach who was in his 80s, and he told me, Seth, my goal is to not die of old age. I want to die because I'm shot, in the end, I want to be shot by a jealous husband. Sometime when I'm 120 or 130 or something. But that guy could move, right? He had mobility, he had strength. And I want to be like that guy. So guys, I'm still technically just warming up my back. You're mostly just seeing me do warm-up level stuff at home because I don't have a ton of weight to throw onto an Olympic bar, and I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. I've maintained fitness for years just doing prison-style workouts in small spaces like this. I think anybody can do it. So now I'm going to hold a little bit farther down on the rope. That's going to cause my body to go a little bit more parallel to the ground and put more leverage against the working muscles. So I haven't changed the weight at all. I've just changed the orientation of it. So a little farther down. So miners, where are you in the comments? Tell me what you're mining. And again, guys, sorry to be so direct about vaping there. There was a time where, I didn't think that I would be doing it, but I bought a vaping pen for my half-sister because she was recovering from chemo after being diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. They caught it way early. It was this crazy thing. She was not raised Mormon. She was raised non-denominational and then became a Christian Scientist as an adult and then went super granola. I mean, hardcore. She was doing kettlebells way before it was cool. All kinds of yoga and stuff and clear back in the 70s, 80s. She's significantly older than I am. And she's way health conscious. So she detected that something was wrong with herself. I don't feel good. She went and had a brushing of her pancreas way early, and they caught it way early. So they were able to work on that. But after she went through chemo, I was like, hey, have you considered vaping CBD oil? Because apparently all of the anecdotal reports show that the CBD it's something like 10 times more bioavailable
when vaped, as opposed to consumed orally. And she was like, okay, well, I'll consider it. I give it to her as a gift. You know, it's sort of like a congratulations, you survived chemo gift. But so am I like unilaterally against vaping? No, I'm not per se. I still think that vaping is a valuable step away from smoking to help people progress away from bad habits, right? To help them be healthier overall. But right now, it's just not the time, right? Hey, T-Bone, thanks for dropping in, man. We'll see you later, man. So, and Jed is proof of stake mining Zeno. Hey, man, I get it. If you got proof of stake coins, if you got masternode coins, set up anything that is passive, right? Cold staked, for sure. Yeah. Oh. And Dave, exercise is key. Yeah, man, 100%. 100%. Oh, Jed, you're at 127? Yeah, buddy. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, the Deadwood, you guys are just getting so, you guys are getting so reamed out there. I'm sorry. So yeah, Jed, for sure. And I mentioned it before. I don't know if you were already on the live stream before, but if you do have Jennies at home that you can run some of your miners on, very likely we're getting close to that point where if you source your fuel correctly, you might be able to start generating power at home far cheaper than pulling it from the grid. So it might not be an option for everybody. You might live in the city, you might live near the city, you might live near the suburbs, right on the outskirts of the city, where sound ordinance would prevent you from running a generator during the times that you'd want to be mining. But if you're not prevented from it, might be worth considering, guys. Worth considering. So, awesome. Hey, guys, I'm going to continue working out for a little bit. So if you want to stay and watch the workout, then by all means, hit that thumbs up, share the link out, and we're going to keep going. What am I drinking? So, this is just as important as anything else, guys, right here. So, yeah, no, Jed, this is great. And I was contacted by an investor group to potentially head up the build out of their mine in the near future. I sincerely hope this works out. So, if you guys are watching, if you guys are just creeping, right, lurking in the on this video to say like, hey, what's this guy all about? Spoiler alert, this is what I would be recommending to you for anything you're not already generating on site through some other means. Right now, the fuel costs are too great to ignore. Yeah, Jed, like you're talking about, small business loan to buy a tanker of fuel. Use the PPP program right now, the Paycheck program that the SBA is offering. Anything you can do to get access to that money, make sure that obviously work with a good CPA, hashtag not advice. That was pretty loaded, right guys? So anybody who understands what I'm saying, then understand. There's huge opportunity right now, massive opportunity. But back to fitness. What am I drinking? Well, water. What's in the water? A little bit of beta-alanine, and then a little bit of stevia, non-calorie natural sweetener, and then a little bit of pineapple flavoring from the factory, right? Where I have some of my bulk supplements would have been created had I continued down that path. I didn't, but I've got a bunch of boxes full of samples and stuff, so I can add flavoring to it. But otherwise, 0-calorie sweetener that is not aspartame and not asulfame potassium and not sucralose, because sucralose strips the lining of your gut, the good flora of your gut. So natural sweetener, and then beta-alanine converts to L-carnitine in your body and basically gives you kind of an energy buzz that doesn't feel like caffeine and doesn't feel like calories. It feels like something else. Doesn't feel like medium chain triglycerides either. So it's not quite the same as consuming coconut oil. But anyway, I digress. Guys, every little trick you can get your body to do one more rep is worth it. So again, guys, I'm not hearing what people are actually mining. Is anybody mining right now, or is everybody conserving cash reserves? I think I already know the answer to that question, but I figure I'll just ask. Okay, and now I'm going to reverse the grip a little bit so that the heel of my palm is upward, and that lets me get a different squeeze on my back.
and forces the weaker parts, the weaker digits of my hand to do a little more work. The pinky and the ring finger, they're never quite as strong as the index and middle finger. So getting a little more weight on those can improve your overall grip strength, your grip, grip, and hair strength. So it's not like actual grip training, but it is, again, a little tip and trick to help improve grip later on. Okay guys, I'm lowering the orientation of my wrists so that I'm using more of my lats now. And I realize most of this is just looking like the same movement. It's not. When your arms are up here, you're using a lot of your traps. When your arms are through here, you're using a lot more of the rest of the intrascapular complex. Such a dumb word, but it just means all the muscles in between your shoulder blades. And then when you're down here, using a lot of the lats. So every different orientation does something different for your back, and I'm trying to do several of them on my back there. So harder to show on camera, but if you have a space like this, easy to do on your own, and you'll feel the difference. So I guess we had a huge rush of concurrent viewers before. It's the cowbell, right? Have you know enough cowbell? There we go. You can tell the weather's great because the kids are already out in the yard. They're choosing to be out in the yard on their own. Whew. So who's excited about Bitcoin or buy Bitcoin price action today? I saw that and it had me pretty excited. I'm not going to lie. Am I super into Bitcoin right now? No, I'm not super into Bitcoin. But I'm enough into Bitcoin that it helped validate some of my life choices, if you know what I mean. Again, I'm reading stuff about some people saying, hey, they think the target is 5,800. I don't know, man. I don't know. That's some of the bears talking. They're saying, hey, it should retrace and correct back to 5,800. I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you long on Bitcoin? Are you short? What are your thoughts on the recent price move to over 7,000? Let me know in the comments. Yeah, man, shoulders are feeling good now. Nice and warmed up. Back to the shoulder. So, here's my thinking on the recent price move. I mean, it's not exactly black magic to me, but I am looking at it thinking like, okay, I'd have to learn more about it. It's just caught my initial attention. That's all it's done. I haven't come to any kind of strong conclusions or strong feelings yet, but the price move has me excited and definitely has captured my interest. So there we go. Sorry guys, there are going to be little blips here and there. Wi-Fi doesn't crank up the gain on my my 2.4 gigahertz antennas to get better reach out here. But there we go, slightly better angle. Whew. All right. And guys, you've heard me say it before, but just working out, lifting weights with little enough rest in between it's not the same as doing cardio. Let's be real, it's just not. However, your heart and lungs don't know that. They can't tell the difference. So when you just work out with enough intention, right, enough intensity, good grief, that's the whole reason that CrossFit exists, right? Hey, what's up, Ozzy? Good to see you back, man. Yeah, it's work time. And I'm about as lazy as I was on push-up day. So that is to say, we'll get some volume in, but I won't be hitting super tight intervals, right, like USMC style or anything. But good to see you back, man. We were talking about a little bit of mining, talking a little bit about Bitcoin price action. So you guys let me know in the comments. Again, are you excited by this move over 7,000? What are your thoughts? Do you think it's going to retrace? back to the high 5,000s? Or do you think we're at the knee of the curve to see a massive upward trend towards the halving? Is it going to retrace before the halving? Is it going to continue up leading up to the halving? What are your thoughts? What are your predictions? I'm not going to make a prediction. I know I have to read a lot more to understand this recent move. All right, guys, so the set to rep scheme of my workouts right now, I'm doing anywhere between 4 to 5 sets of anywhere between 10 to 15 reps. It's kind of higher volume training. What's up, Crypto Mikkel? Good to see you, man. Good to see you in the comments. Yeah, got to do this, man. This is how I keep my mind right, guys. I do not work out. It's definitely not to impress women. I impressed one lady almost 20 years ago, and look where that got me. Right, so it's definitely not to impress strange women, I'll put it that way. And it's not necessarily to impress other dudes. Certainly not in that way. But like, for me, that's just how I keep my mind right. It's all this for me, you know? It's just for me, my own personal mental health. Right, so, yeah, hey, Crypto Mikkel, glad to see you in the comments, man. Guys, give him a shout out. Give our crypto mining content creators some love. So, what else we got here? Dude. Hey, I appreciate that, Crypto Mikkel. I'm very, very happy with the situation that we have right now. My wife and I actually homeschooled our kids for a couple of years before all this happened. But they went back to public school, so it was kind of weird when the schools all said, hey, we're sending your kids home and we'll teach them. My wife and I were like, we'll see how long that lasts. It was like a week in that our schools were all like, oh, well, we realized that we can't just conduct things the way that we normally do and still get the kids to work. We're like, you think? Wow, wow, you don't say. So it's been fun to see how the public schools are handling the shutdowns on their end. For us, we're like, okay, cool. We're gonna get our kids to do about 2 to maybe 3 hours of actual schoolwork, like work every day. The rest is sort of self-directed study related to the topics. And at the end of the day, they will have grasped more stuff to a concept perfect level than they do in 8 hours of school. So it's funny that they're catching up now. Oh my gosh. Yeah, video classes. No, they're terrible, man. They're terrible. And Zoom is overloaded, and Zoom admitted to lacking in privacy. The whole thing is a cluster, right? Everybody's just realizing now that properly setting up a massive online courses, it's been tricky for a reason. And MOOCs kind of came into popularity and fell back out of them between 2010 and 2016. But here they are again with the live component, and all of a sudden what's old is new again. It's crazy, just crazy. Security for video. We're going to see a massive shakeup, right, of education on the other end of this. I think it'll probably be a net positive, but I don't know. Lambda School, those guys are, I mean, they had record applications this last cohort. How do I know? I applied to Lambda School, guys. I did. I tried, and I took their early entrance exam, and they fast-tracked me for the data science program. I chose not to, and it's nothing against Lambda School, but that's not the purpose of this video. But just saying, I do not want to use this downtime or waste this downtime and not come out of the other side with a brand new hard skill for technology. So that's where I'm at. But yeah, all of these different courses, all of these different educational institutions, they're suffering in their own ways. Okay, guys, now I'm doing a full reverse lie. At the top of that arc, as you can tell, my body is moving up, and I don't have any measurements here, any measuring devices here. But as I move farther up, there's less leverage at that level of resistance. If I were all the way down here, it'd be a lot. not about that life, man. Math is math. So guys, I'm gonna do a little boxer shuffle here. Wait for you to tell me, what are your thoughts on Bitcoin right now? Nobody's saying anything. Are we all just like, are you guys all feeling the way I am? Kind of like, wait and see, do more reading, try to figure out if there's proper volume behind the move, or figure it out. All right, Mikkel says bye. Crypto Mikkel says bye. Guys. Let's buy it. Cost bad. We're mine. Dollar cost averaging with your mining. This guy knows. I think your joint venture is DCA Adventure, right? It's the name of the channel. Good stuff, man. All right, guys. A little more of that reverse fly. I'm feeling good with that, so I'm gonna do that for probably 3 or 4 sets here. Oh yeah. And now I'm actually moving directly into the fly. I'm not starting with a row because apparently I've got enough torque in my muscles right now in my warmed up state to just initiate that move at the bottom. So I'm feeling good. Got enough horsepower to torque it from the bottom of, get out of the bottom of that hole and then squeeze all the way up. So I'm going to keep going with that. Okay, that's a micro rest for the same set. Which, by the way, is my favorite cheat. Doing a partial set and then finishing it. Whew. And I'm here to tell you, in terms of physical cheats, I mean, you see guys at the gym all the time, right, who are yoked, and you watch them lift. Clearly, cheating works. It works with resistance training. You can't cheat cardio, not unless you're blood doping. But even at that, you'd only be blood doping to try to get like top tier performance. So you can't really cheat cardio. Muscles? Heck yeah. Strength? Heck yeah. You can cheat all day. But you gotta be smart about it. So yeah, partial sets is one way that I cheat, where I'm like, I'm trying to correct form, or I just want to catch my breath, or I want to keep my heart rate steady at 65% of max, not go above that, not go below that. I'll do a partial set. I'll cut it short and then I'll jump back in. But I'm kind of the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s mentality, right? Of keeping a steady 65% heart rate, or 65% of max heart rate. So that's kind of where that ideology comes from. I've also done German volume training to some advantage, so I try not to be too strict about dogmatic about one approach. But that one I really like. So partial sets, I do them a lot. So, what are you guys doing to keep your sanity? Tell me. Clearly I work out a little bit, and then I build websites for kicks, and then rebuild websites for kicks. So just shameless plug, guys. If you need something built or rebuilt, reach out. I'm doing some of that as work for hire, so I can do additional stuff from home. And in particular, drop shipping and e-commerce sites. I'm very much about creating those for other people, because we're all stuck at home. Well, so many of us are stuck at home. Okay, I'm starting to slow down on this. It is taking its toll, guys. You can probably tell. Getting less chatty, more focused. Okay, that's a good set there. Alrighty, guys, I'm not seeing many comments. I'm wondering if maybe hey, there's Jed. Lifting weights and playing hockey. Oh, sweet. Yeah, man, can't cheat at hockey either. There's no partial sprint that'll get you to where you want to play. Good for you. Yeah, so the ice rink here where I normally work out, I think they're probably shut to the public. I'm wondering if they're letting their hockey teams play though. I bet they are. Just behind closed doors or secretly. I bet they totally are. So, it's a bummer, man. Sorry your rink is closed. Yeah. Oh, Ozzy's getting it. He's working out. Good for you. Says, I say DCA, but hard to type when I'm getting my heart pumping. Pump it. Nice. So yeah, they melted the ice. Okay. So they wanted to make sure that nobody would come in and borrow the rink when we're watching. That kind of sucks. Well, hey man, roller hockey. I know it's not the same thing, but that's what got me hooked on inline skates back in the '90s, man. Roller hockey, Southern California. You don't have like this abundance of sheets of ice all over the place to go and learn hockey on. So maintenance. Everything's under maintenance right now. Whew. All right, guys. I think this is my last set of reverse flies here. After this, we'll probably do some body weight pull-ups, and then we'll do a little bit of extra weight and some kettlebells in between as a finisher. Nice. Yep, so my wife keeps asking me to bust out the old inline skates. Let me show you the ones that I got her. These are Solomon, the old trick skates. So back in the 90s, I actually had sponsors and was a pro-am aggressive inline skater. So I did ramps, I did street courses, and of course I had sponsors, so they'd fly me to competitions and to exhibitions. That was a charmed phase of life, but at that time I had a limited sponsorship from Rossi's at one point. Not anymore. Cool Italian company, Italian skate maker. I had a direct sponsorship with a company called Razors, a German skate company. And then I had for a very limited time, I had a wheel sponsor, a company called, are they Krypton? Kryptonite wheels? I'm like drawing blank, but I think they were called Kryptonite wheels. But anyway, yeah. And then when I finished up that life, right, that phase of life, and moved on, it just wasn't something that really moved me anymore. I still love doing it, right? Like, it's fun, and especially aerial stuff. Give me a really good kicker or a really good fun box in particular, something with a downward transition, big fun box. I could do rodeo flips, I could do 720 rodeos. I never did just like straight back flips, right, or gainers, because it just seemed boring, right? Like, always a twist. Misty flips, of course, there was a point where I was doing, and a Misty flip isn't technically a 540, but, do a final half twist and pull out of a Misty flip sort of like 720-ish, right, or forward again. So I love doing aerials. That was a lot of fun. And, I got messed up. So you guys see the dental work I have up front. Part of that is in thanks, or part of that is largely thanks to skating. Broke this wrist twice. Got a big old gash on one of my shins where I clear down to the bone, completely exposed. Not
Not a compound fracture. I didn't fracture the bone, but I scraped it all the way down to the bone, totally visible. Got that stitched up. Chipped both my patellas. All kinds of nasty stuff, guys. Once pierced my tongue by biting on it too hard, coming out of off a kicker ramp the wrong way. So I feel like I sacrificed physically a lot for that sport to get good. But I had those sponsors back in the day. Also a skate shop out of Huntington Beach called Team Paradise was one of my sponsors. You can still find some of their catalogs with a young Seth Estrada in it. So just funny. But when I got married, I was really young right when I got married, and my wife was like, "Oh, I can tell that's so important to you. We should do that sometime." So I bought her these dainty little Solomons, right? And I got myself a matching pair. Those are the last skates that I allowed myself to hold on to. And yeah, she still asks me to go out and skate sometimes. But do I do like gnarly aerials and ramps and stuff? Nah, man. Only because I know what the costs are, right, for messing up on a ramp. I know what the costs are for messing up on handrails and doing grinds and stuff because I paid that price, right? I've been down that road. I paid that price. So yeah, now I'm just laid back. I'll still cut lines and stuff at the skate park, right? Carve ramps and do air and stuff. Little aerials and things, but I'm not out to try to be the cool old man at the skate park. There's no award. There's no award for being the cool old man at the skate park. You just get the admiration of teenagers who are like, oh yeah, man, someday when I'm in my 40s or I'm in my 50s, I'm gonna be like that guy. And I just I don't see myself being that guy, right? Like, there to have fun, there to relax. If my kids want to skate, cool. Do whatever, right? Skateboard. I mean, shoot, if they want to use scooters or anything, I don't care, man. As long as they're having fun. Like, I'm happy to see them at the skate park and go with them, right? So, yeah, AZ, totally. Yeah, it is a great way to break. Or both arms. I had a friend in Canada, friend of the family, who literally broke both arms on rollerblades. He came and visited us, our family in California, once after that happened. He was in a cast, both arms, right, all clear up to the elbow. And he's like, "Oh, you got rollerblades. Those are pretty fun." I'm sorry, he broke it doing something else. And he saw my rollerblades when he visited us. And he's like, "I'd like to try that." Puts them on, first thing, whoop, slips back, hits both arms in the cast. So I'm like, "Oh my gosh." Yeah, I mentioned my left wrist breaking it twice. The second time I broke it, I was in a cast while I broke it again. Because as a teenager, I just knew I had to keep up with my skills. Granted, it did pay off. That was the year that I went, that I got sponsors and everything. But, in the long run, I still get weird ghost pain and, what is it? The Indiana Jones quote, it's not the age, it's the mileage. I have a lot of miles on this meat suit because of skating. So, anyway, I'm not about that life anymore. I don't want to be the cool old man that's out there, like AZ saying, breaking a hip. All right, guys, I am done with those. The reverse flies, they are retired for this workout. Hang that up with the other jump ropes. Let's do a little bit of kettlebell swinging. And just so you're aware, I am a big fan of a couple different styles. If you're familiar with the old Dragon Door, so Pavel Tsatsouline, he, first of all, was never a kettlebell champion in Russia. He never learned official Russian kettlebell lifting. I'm not going to call him a fraud, but he's a guy who completely made up his system inspired by the piece of equipment. It was never anything that was officially taught through any Russian kettlebell sport or any old world kettlebell sport. So AZ is saying Turkish get-up. No, I'm not going to be doing Turkish get-up. They're good. They're really good. Turkish get-ups are great. And I can do them with fairly heavy weight. I'm not doing that today. Today, the actual Russians, the actual swings that I'm going to do are, I'm going to do a Russian style swing, which is the only kettlebell swing that is a real kettlebell swing. We're not doing overhead extensions. That CrossFit stuff is nonsense. American swing is not a thing. Hard style swing where you pause at the top. It works to get fit, but it's not an actual functional movement. It's busy work. So we're going to do a Russian swing where with one hand, guys, I'll show you back here, one hand, we're going to keep sort of neutral footing, shoulder width apart, slightly bent knee until we get to the back, and we're going to bring our hand right here, close to the danger zone, right? Right to the side, the inside of the thigh, with the thumb back. And it's weird, because it looks like you're going to try to check your own oil, right? But your hands are on the grip, you bring your palm to here, and then you rock back, and then you can pop the hips up. And because you got the kettlebell handle so high, you are moving the kettlebell weight forward with that hip thrust, and then bringing it up to about eye line, right there. That's the Russian swing. That's the kettlebell swing. There is no American swing, there is no CrossFit swing, there is no hardstyle swing, like there's just a kettlebell swing. It all starts from the hip, it all goes right up to about there because that's as far as your hip can throw it. And if you can't do it with one hand like that, then you're not really doing it right. That's why there's only one swing. So, we're going to do a little bit of that, warming up with the 25 pound, and then we'll move to the 1 or the 20 kilo. Which, frankly, these aren't super challenging weights, but we're doing this to warm up our hips and our lower back and to get the form right. When you do this correctly, you'll feel your lower back, your glutes, and your thighs, specifically your hamstrings especially. You'll feel everything warm up before long. It doesn't take a lot of weight because the movement itself is pretty violent, right? You'll notice that with my other hand, it's pretty common for me to just move it back and then swing it forward. I don't have to. I can lock it out on my hip to make sure that I'm not cheating with that hand, right? Using it as some kind of an impetus or some kind of a pendulum to assist. All right. What do we have here? AZ, buddy, love it. So clearly you've actually studied like Russian kettlebell sport. If you learn from somebody who's an actual gidevik, somebody who's involved in the sport of girevoy, then they'll tell you, like, no, this is an actual sport. There are people around the world who've participated in this actual sport that doesn't look anything like what that guy Pavel has been getting, like massive consulting fees to go and teach law enforcement officers and teach military personnel. It's unreal. It's unreal what you can do when you convince people that you're an expert. I mean, again, not going to call the guy fraud. He came up with a system. He was aggressive in his marketing. Like, I'm not going to hate. I'm going to congratulate. But if we're talking about actual kettlebells for fitness, no, don't do what he does. All right, so I got 25 pound warm up. I think we're in good shape. For me, at least, been working out. I think I've shown you guys this kettlebell before. This is the old Valery Fedorenko Pro Style kettlebell. I love these things. I don't think they're in production anymore, but they've got a flat edge on all four corners so that you can rack right here without making your forearm feel hurt, I guess. Though frankly, if your forearm's hurt from kettlebell, that's just weakness leaving your body. You have to do more kettlebells. Build up some calluses in the nerve endings here. So, here we go. Some people use lifting shoes, like Olympic lifting shoes, for their kettlebell swings. I feel like if I need more ground feel,
it's good to just go barefoot. But if you don't need more ground feel, then just use whatever shoes you have. Oh, and I don't count reps. I just do approximately 9 to 12 or whatever. All right, AZ, good to see you, man. So, all right, guys, anybody who's still here, what questions do you have for me about fitness in general? What I eat in general? I won't give anybody advice, but I'm happy to share what I do. Again, this is just for my sanity, my emotional and mental and spiritual health. The fact that it's physical is just coincidental. Let's do the left side, my left side. Feels good. Oh. All right, guys, let me check my battery. And, oh man. So, Ozzy's asking me about intermittent fasting. It works. Just full stop. Intermittent fasting works. It does. But, you know, what's old is new again. People in the 70s, due to economic hardship and going into the 80s, a lot of people got out of the habit of eating breakfast. So what we do today with bulletproof coffee, they just did with a cup of Joe, right? Black. So, and I mean, that's not new, right? This is something a lot of people have done for a long time, right? Where it's like, okay, cool, give me a cup of Joe, dark or black, and or something along those lines, just to get going. So, yeah, man, what's old is new again, right? And physiques in the 70s, being fat in the 70s, you almost had to work to be fat in the 70s. If you look back at that time, nobody had tons of food lying around the way we do. Nobody had processed food lying around the way we do. That was an artifact of the 80s, right? And in the 90s. So intermittent fasting works. Totally works. So it totally works. That said, so does calorie restriction in general. Just restrict your calories and it works. So getting yourself close to the target amount per day. Weight Watchers, for example, to date, it's still the most successful large-scale program in terms of getting people to lose weight. What does it do? Calorie restriction. That's all it does. So intermittent fasting totally works. Intermittent fasting adds the element, I guess, of like from what I read, of sort of leveling out and optimizing certain hormone profiles for you because you're not eating, right? So I guess it's got some additional benefits. That said, I mentioned before in the live stream, I was raised to participate and to believe in using fasting as a spiritual practice. And so I will, not every day or every week, but I will occasionally, I'll fast for spiritual purposes, right? To kind of just clear my mind and just be focused on one specific topic. So I'll fast for that purpose, and I find that it also expresses physical benefit too. So I think fasting in general, if you understand what you're doing and you don't harm yourself, right, by getting dehydrated or by denying yourself the right kinds of foods when you return to eating after your fast, I think if you use it carefully, it can have many, many benefits. But intermittent fasting totally works. Yeah, everybody who does it feels a difference for sure. And it's an easier way to deal with calorie restriction, right? Just say like, I'm just not going to eat for these hours of the day. Ooh, all right, guys, I got to get to set 3 of these kettlebell swings. And guys, so Ozzy, to continue on that thread of intermittent fasting, what I do when I participate in something that approximates intermittent fasting is I will take something like titanium tea. I'll just take an herbal tea with a little bit of coconut oil in it. And that will be my breakfast, or that'll be the amount of morning calorie intake that I'm willing to have. But yeah, sometimes I'll just tell myself that I'm doing intermittent fasting and I'm like, no, I'm just too lazy to make breakfast. So what do you guys think of the algorithm change on Ravencoin and Zcoin? What do you think about them adopting variants of ProgPow? I've been quiet about this, but I'm curious to know what you guys think. Where are my miners at? What are you thinking about in terms of ProgPow or variants of it beginning to gobble up the GPU mining world? Is this good? Is this bad? Are you indifferent? Do you think in a year it will matter? Do you think maybe be more direct? Do you think if Ethereum doesn't adopt ProgPow, that ProgPow will be relevant? Or do you think it'll just disappear? I mean, code doesn't really disappear, does it? So I'm curious about that myself. I do think that ProgPow was proposed and that the early sample implementations were provided, that it was too little too late. I don't think that Ethereum will adopt it just because Ravencoin and Zcoin are adopting it. I don't think that's enough to force ProgPow into production on Ethereum. But I don't know, what do you guys think? There we go. Slightly longer set for a sprint there at the end. Just switching hands in between. Your hips and your back don't know the difference, right? They don't care which hand is holding the kettlebell. They just drive the weight regardless. So being a really good ambidextrous lifter is, it's to your benefit because you improve your literal dexterity, right? Using your left hand versus your right. And then with kettlebells, you keep the burn going in your core muscles without wearing out the grip on one side.
It's very easy when you got whatever 20, 25 kilos in your hand. Very easy to feel your grip weakening and let it go. Whew. All right, guys, I'm glad my heart rate's up. This is how I prefer to do cardio, in sprints with weight. Just my take on it. Maybe I'm lazy. I probably am, but you know what? I like lifting this way. Generally speaking, my heart rate's good, and when I do blood work, it comes back clear. So I'm gonna stick with it. Check those comments, guys. What are you thinking about? Oh my gosh, why are my comments not showing up? All right. All right, so Crypto Mikhail's saying you're not a fan of ProgPow. Maybe it'll be a good chance for Raven. I think you're right. ASICs have been smashing Raven. Ozzy says he's not a fan, but you're indifferent. Crypto Mikhail says he'd love to see it work. Jed says, I don't think ETH will adopt it, but that's fine with me, to be honest. It'll be good for a certain small project because Zcoin and Raven will no doubt bring more miner support and options to the algo. I agree with you. Having spoken to both of their lead dev teams fairly recently and kind of knowing behind the scenes that they were adopting or they were seriously evaluating ProgPow, neither one of those teams took that decision lightly, I think. They've really tried to study it out. But real talk, also, they had to lean heavily on the advice of the consultants that were going to integrate it. That always concerns me. Where it's like, oh, you're the sole source provider. You're going to implement this feature change, and you're probably going to be responsible for the ecosystem support. There's bias there, guys. That worries me most of the time. All right. Yeah, so Ozzy says, you do shadow boxing, get the cardio up. That's great, man. That's great. Don't stop. Whew. All right, I'm feeling like it's a good start there. Speaking of which, let's get back into a boxer shuffle here so I don't lose one little heart rate boost I just had. And try to keep the hands up. Again, what's the point of doing anything that resembles a boxer shuffle if you don't have your guard up? Because these muscles tire out a lot faster than your legs do. I mean, for anybody who doesn't know, this community seems to be pretty deeply involved in a lot of different pursuits, so including martial arts. You guys know this stuff. Martial arts and boxing, pugilism. Ooh. And I've got another question for you guys. I know I started shaving my head a few months back. I just did it because I was tired of the pattern on top of my head. I was just tired of it. And I shaved my head, gosh, I guess I tried it out for the first time 11 years ago. So, I was significantly younger then, but I tried it out. It was a trial run because so many of my brothers had already gone bald, so I just knew it was coming. And tried it out, wasn't sure that it was right for me. I think I tried it out again 5 years ago, just buzzing it short while I was a trainer for Microsoft because it was easier on the road. You just quickly buzz it instead of having to try to find a barber. And this year I was like, you know what? Shine it. Just going to do it. The Bic in the shower every other day. Not every day because I'd be like a bloody mess on top of my head. Had no skin left right on my scalp. What do you guys think? Just going to get your feedback. Does this make me look fat? There's something of a prick. So, yeah, I kid. I know it doesn't make me look fat. It makes me look stupid, right? Is that what it does? It makes me look stupid. All right. Oh. But what do you guys think? Thumbs up for the shaved head? Thumbs down. Does it make me look mean and unapproachable? Like a person who should always be standing like this and acting like a dick? All right. Nice.
Yeah, again, I kid. I started doing it because it was a mental health thing, guys. I say mental, emotional, right? There's a difference there. I don't feel like I'm mentally unhinged, but I mean, then again, real talk, I'm not a therapist, so I don't know that I'm legally qualified to make that assessment. However, for me, shaving my head, it's been something that helps. It's a grounding exercise, like an emotional or behavioral grounding exercise, where every other day I know that I'm gonna reset to zero, right? So a bit like so many grounding exercises, right? Like taking off your socks and shoes, walking out onto grass, and letting your feet touch earth and grass. It's been for me a really great way to do that. So spiritual, no. Quasi-spiritual, maybe. But it's been healthy. It's been positive for me. This has been a good thing for me, at least. My experience of it. So I appreciate the feedback. Ozzy says it looks good. And you know, my wife hasn't complained too much, so it can't be that bad. She complained about the beard when I started doing that like 7 years ago. Oh my gosh!
Ah, my ears are burning.
Yeah, we're live.
I need to practice it.
Oh, done.
Dad, guess what? I just made my very first video, and it's called the honey roll.
Nice. Good job, bud.
See it? It's awesome.
Dude, did they give you a heart attack? They gave me a heart attack.
All right, we'll see you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. My wife is like 5'0". So when she comes up out of nowhere, no, really, seriously, she comes up out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh my gosh, who is this like troll? It's like some kind of like gnome or something comes out of. I mean, she's like my Hobbit wife. When she jumps out of nowhere, it like this is an ongoing thing. Seriously, I've had to train my panic response to keep from like flipping around and decking my own wife because she just does that. Ugh. No, I love her to pieces, but it's like, but I'm like, I can be a really nervous guy, right? Like seriously, I'm just gonna tell you, do not do that to me when we meet in person, because I will grab her or through a window, because I will leverage all of my body weight and we'll dance. Don't sneak up on me like that. It's funny because in other situations, I actually am pretty cool under pressure. It's just that one thing. And it's not funny, guys. It's not funny. I kid. EDM remix of Seth going, "Wah!" So, yeah, that's coming soon, right? Oh, yeah. Yeah, coming soon to a YouTube channel near you. All right, guys, I'm going to probably finish up my workout. Yeah, no, Ozzy, you're right, actually, totally. It's great. It's hilarious. But my wife stopped doing it on purpose years ago because when we were first married, I think she tried to surprise me once when I was like huddled in a corner and I was really vulnerable. And I was just this young, really nervous guy, right? Like I've got high anxiety. And she surprised me, and I was in such a position that I was able to turn, and she like tried to fall onto me, and just like in a fairly friendly way, I launched her into the air with my feet. I didn't kick her, but I did like push her, and she was like, "What?" We were in a hotel room at the time, so she landed on a bed. But it was like boom, she went like airborne. I don't remember what her hang time was. It was a couple seconds, but it was like whew. Anyway, my poor little Hobbit wife. She loves me anyway, which is good. I married up, and I don't ever forget that. So, guys, I mentioned kettlebell swings. Yeah, dude, the stories, right? I'm so glad that smartphones were not like a thing when I was first married. I was such a doofus. I am such a doofus still, right? But like, I was a much more young and dumb doofus then than I am now, right? Like, how do kids handle this, man? Right? How do kids handle this today when they get married? When they get married young, in their 20s or 30s, and are still like kind of dopey, right? Like I can't imagine it with the world the way it is now. Anyway, so yeah, I mentioned kettlebell swings. Got the kettlebell swings checked off. I mentioned something else that I wanted to do, guys. Do you remember what it is? Did I tell you? Pull-ups. We're doing pull-ups, huh? Because we're out here in the shed. And the shed is great for pull-ups. So, battery's getting kind of low on the phone. I'm going to do some wide grip. Probably better to a wide grip here. All right, you guys see it on camera there. According to the President's Council on Fitness, because I can do 20, no, I stopped very short. I should probably do a lot more till failure, so sue me. Because I can do 20, the President's Council on Fitness labels me as superior, and I have the test results to prove it. Oh, snap! So, yeah, Crypto Michael, great, you're looking over your shoulder now. It's true, but that's like, dude, that's crypto life. Real talk. Show of hands, if you're just a little bit paranoid. We all are here, man. We all are. And let's go with some chins. Probably match that set. Actually, I'm going to leave that one at 12. I'm feeling something weird in my back. Again. Yeah. Yeah, Crypto Mikhail, man. Mining especially makes you, I think, appropriately paranoid. Yeah, no, Ozzy, like you're saying, I broke a cardinal rule in terms of personal OPSEC there in self-defense. I did. Cardinal rule. Always be facing main modes of ingress and egress. Womp womp. The things I do for you guys. Oh. All right, one more set, wide grip. We're going to go back to pull-ups. Chins, I don't know. Like I'm not a big fan of them. I think that's why I probably should do more of them. But I feel like unless you're in a really narrow grip, again, I'm highly sensitive to what, the full kinetic chain. What are your fingers doing, and how do the phalanges in their position affect your wrists? How do your wrists affect your elbows? How do your elbows affect the rotation of your shoulders? And I just don't like chins. Don't like them as much. Actually, let's go half and half. I'll do a partial set here. Like 8 of one, 8 of the other. And I'm training for my fingertips instead of doing a false grip. Ooh. Actually, grip is slipping. All right, guys. I am at 5% focus right now. I'm going to call it broadcast. Do one more set. Crypto Mail. Glad the new site is looking clean. I hope we're talking about yours. If you need help, of course, reach out, guys. Anybody who's still looking for website rebuilt, that website we're building specifically for e-commerce, print on demand, and drop shipping, give me a holler. It's part of what I'm doing while I'm at home. So, all right. Dave, what's the most I can do without stopping? Haven't tried in a while. Let's do that in the broadcast. My battery's almost dead, guys. Thanks for hitting that like button, hitting the subscribe, clicking the bell icon so you're notified. The reason I make all this media, my face. And I will see you back in quarantine soon enough. All right, have a day.